back again on a fantastic, sucker-free, magnificent Monday night. Going to Tuesday morning, seeing that it's after midnight. Okay? Yeah, we have to keep it down right now. Right now, I am in an exclusive location, low volume community. So yeah, I have to keep it a little down. Friends are inside, you know, watching sports, watching kung fu movies, and some watching YouTube. You're all inside, but I'm outside. How you all doing? And if you're not having a great day, put a smile on your face. Put a smile on your face. Look in the mirror and put a smile on your face and see not only how powerful you are, but how beautiful you are. Do that. I promise that it will help change your attitude. 100. Anyway, seeing that we are here on this Monday night, Tuesday morning, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you press the subscribe button, hit the notification bell and the word all to help ensure that you get notifications when we upload videos on YOUTUBE, and press those condiments, the like and the share. Share the information with relatives, friends, co-workers, anyone that you come into contact with. It is a magnificent way to jumpstart your conversation. Here in Chicago, the crime does not stop. Murders do not stop. The shootings do not stop. Robberies do not stop. Carjackings do not stop. Why is that? Because people are filled with evil thoughts here in Chicago. I'm only going to speak about Chicago, and I know that this goes on all across the United States and the ghettos of America. Evil thoughts, hateful thoughts against one another, against your own self. Here it is, here in Chicago, you have a homeless man. What's his name? 49-year-old Dion Vance. Dion Vance is standing outside of a McDonald's uptown on Wilson Boulevard, Wilson Avenue, 1004 to be exact, And what does he do? He's outside panhandling, asking people for money. And this one lady who goes to that McDonald's daily because she lives right down the street, 82 years old, Dion Vance, 49 years old, asking her for money as she exits the McDonald's. She keeps on walking. And what does he do? He pushes her down to the ground, fracturing her knee because she didn't give him no money. But when the cops arrested him, they found out that, according to Dion, got two different stories here. He said that she called him a nigger in Chinese. He said that he's had some experience with the Chinese language and said that the lady called him a nigger in Chinese and pushed her down to the ground. They did not reveal the victim's name. Bystanders who knew the lady walked her home and made sure that she got to her place of residence. People getting shot in Chicago, women getting shot, 14-year-olds getting shot, robbing people. Like the 14-year-old in the alley, along with the 26-year-old both shot in the alley. The 33-year-old man that got shot at Douglas Park. That's where we used to make movies at back in the day. Celebrity Car Wash, Killer, Bloodline, Project Pat, Fingers, Airhead, Yeah. We used to hang out right there in Douglas Park. And some people are still out there today. However, the 33-year-old victim who was shot and killed, where you had liquor bottles all over the ground, horrible scene, tragic death, just minding his business. Whomever he was with, he was minding his business. People come up today, just punch you in the face. Just punch you in the face here in the city, just walking down the street. Just like the girl got stabbed 15 times. The young lady got stabbed 15 times here in Chicago. Why? Because she did not respond to a man who said good morning. Stabbed 15 times in the head, in the back of the head, in the left hand, and the right arm. Civilians, bystanders, pulled off the assailant. And he did what? He got about a half a mile down the street, and the police, nabbed him. They should have nabbed his ass, okay? You have a lot of strange people walking the streets right now. They've closed the insane asylums. People are on the brink of destruction. People don't have money. And you need some type of money in this society to make it, even if you panhandling. But in the case of Dion Vance, you just made it bad for panhandlers, man. Just like you have the little boys with the big gym shoes on the corner, and they make it bad for themselves when they go bang, bang, and begin to shoot up the set, making it bad for the whole block. Ain't nobody making no money. You, Dion Vance, did the same thing for good homeless people who are out here real bad, asking for money, and you push that lady down to the ground. I'm glad the police got you. I lived in New York City at one time. Yeah, Manhattan. Yeah, Lower East Side. Yeah, right there on Houston, okay? Saw panhandlers all the time, all around the city. But they didn't ever violate nobody because they didn't want to give them no money. Even if they called them an obscene word. As in the case of, But moving right along, we have to put down the guns. We have to put down the violence. The whole world is watching black people right now. Right now, we are in the center of the spectrum of the world. How are we going to react? How do we treat each other? Is there a change in how we do that? The answer is no. It has become worse. We become savages. And all of the savages make it bad for the good people, just as in the case of white America, which we'll get into in a minute. Prime example of this would be like Terrance Crawford. The super middleweight champion. Bah, 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 bah. Smack you up, bop you up. What's his record? 41-0. From Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah, the brother just had to fight 2 weeks ago, They gave the belts back to his opponent. Yeah, that Terrance Crawford. Mhm. I'm going to tell you how bad this really is. Here it is. You have a super middleweight champion of the world. There is a parade in the city for him for his accomplishments. And by the way, everybody that's in the chat room, I want to thank you for being here because you could have been somewhere else doing something else with someone else. Who we got out here? Tim says, my grandma got blown. W3, Jesus loves you. Gary, White Tree. TXNY, TXNY. You close to the camera. I appreciate everybody out there, and I send shots out to you for being here, for spending time with us. And I tip my hat to you. I will put it on this way, but for the sake of lighting, maybe it looks better this way, okay? But check this out. Terrance Crawford, after giving the key to the city in Omaha, Nebraska. Have you all been to Omaha, Nebraska? I have, plenty of times. You know what they made the movie Belly at, some of it at, with DMX and Nas. I've been to Omaha. I've been to Lincoln, Nebraska. Only thing you got to do is from Chicago, get on 80 West, Interstate 80, and take it west. And you'll run into Omaha, Nebraska. Okay? But needless to say, Terrance Crawford, and everybody knows who he is. The world knows who the man is. Even the police who was there at his parade watched him get the key to the city. And what did the Omaha, Nebraska police do? They pull him over as he's riding in his black Lamborghini. For what reason? They always got to have a reason. They say the reason was because he was driving reckless. But he's sober and he just left his parade party and given the key to the city. But the white police there, the white law enforcement there, decided that we're not going to let this nigger have a great day. They wanted to rain all over his parade. And when they stopped him, he had a legal firearm on his seat, the passenger seat. By all rights, he do have that right. The police, when they approached his car, they drew their firearms, seeing a black man in a Lamborghini, the world's super middleweight champion. No matter how much black excellence you have, they still call you a nigger. Whether that, because white men made niggers. Yeah, white men manufactured niggers with the inception of slavery, but the Arabs did it before then. Yeah. The white man manufactures niggers, but they couldn't see this nigger, Terrance Crawford, enjoy his city day, which the city celebrated the man for. Every time they see a brother stroking, they try to make his ship sink. Every time. I think Malcolm X told you that a long time ago. You can have a PhD, master's, bachelor's, be a House of Representative member like Jasmine Crockett and still get all of this defaming names and language. What did Laura Loomer call Jasmine Crockett? A ghetto black bitch. This is the evil. This is the evil that people have for people who look like me. Now let me ask you a question. Seeing that some of you all don't consider America to be full of racism, that we're not ruled under racism. If we were not ruled under racism, the society would not be the way that it is. People would not be mistreated the way that they are because of their hue of their skin tone. But let me remind you, for the very same people who mistreat people for the color of their hue, if it had not been for people like me, who look like me, the very same people who perpetrate the violence and the injustice upon people who look like me, you should be thanking me. You should be thanking people who look like me. Because without us, there would be no you. It's just sad that the worst of me has to come out in somebody else. Damn. Who we got out here? Mr. Silver. I only listen to Grok. He's leading the front. Evil Whitey Syndrome. Annie Girl stole my username. Gary Hassanel, Evil Whitey. Mr. Silver, lab grown. Mr. Silver is the earth. Flat, where you from? All of everybody that's out there, I want to thank you for being here in the chat room, because you could have been somewhere else doing something else with someone else. So I want to thank you once again, okay? If you're just coming in, And make sure you tell your family, friends, and coworkers about this video, about this channel. Subscribe, like, and share, okay? But getting back to the conversation. The man is supposed to have a gun. But according to the police, the chief of police there, says that they followed protocol, seeing that a firearm was present. Terrance Crawford wasn't injured. He wasn't shot. However, he was patted down on his car, according to the reports. But about, 15, 20 minutes, they let him go. They didn't have anything on him. But I'm sure that they knew that that was him. Don't they run your license plate? And when they run your license plate, your name comes up who you are. They did that on some evil shit. They did that to disrupt that man's great day. You see how they do you? They say created equal. There's no equalness in this society at all. Not at all. Keep thinking that it's, not racist. If it wasn't racist, why is ICE here in Chicago right now? Who we got? Nope. And shouldn't be preaching hate. I'm out. Ain't nobody preaching hate, man. Look, if you're wrong, you're wrong. They knew that man. They knew who he was, and they just left the place. I'm just showing you what they do. And you know that's what they do. I don't understand why people can't be honest with themselves about what another section of a people do. Seeing that another section of the people, meaning the white people, love to put the dirty laundry out of black people, but they don't like to put the dirty laundry out on themselves. This is why Donald Trump is erasing history in schools, banning black excellence, banning black accomplishments. He's doing the same thing that Noah did in the book of Genesis. That's right. Donald Trump is doing the same thing that Noah did in the Bible in the book of Genesis. But what do you mean by that, Mo? Donald Trump is wiping out the history of black excellence, black history, and white wrong. He's washing it out. Just like the flood came in the book of Genesis with Noah. The flood wasn't for humanity to be destroyed. No, no. The Bible is written allegorically, right? It's written allegorically. Before there was Noah, there was civilization on this earth. But Noah is the history of the Caucasian man, just like Adam is the history of the Caucasian man. And when Noah came and he talked to God, and it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and Noah was on that ark, that was a sign of washing away black history and the incept of Caucasian history written as rulership to mentally disable you. To mentally disable you. How is it that the flood with Noah happened when around 2500 BC? How could that be? How could there ever be a flood when Egyptian monuments, black Egyptian historical monuments, and people were still ruling for 2,000 years, 76 kings? Anyway, Donald Trump is doing the same thing, flooding it away, taking it away from school. Just like you have these aldermen here in Chicago, you have a handful of aldermen here in Chicago that is in objection to honoring Assata Shakur for black students in schools. They say that she was the first woman on America's Most Wanted list as a terrorist and escapee. The first woman, black woman. and she escaped from prison and didn't have nothing to do with the murder of the cop that was murdered on that New Jersey Turnpike back in 1973. She didn't do that, and they still convicted the lady. So what do you want her to do? You stole her freedom. You stole her freedom. She didn't have any gunpowder residue on her body, on her clothes. And from where she was shot at, leaving her paralyzed in her right arm and her clavicle, there's no way possible that she could have murdered or committed the heinous act of murder against the state trooper. But yet, they still found her guilty and sent her to Clinton Correctional Facility. Now that's ironic, because Tupac, her godson, ended up in Clinton Correctional Facility. And I guess he escaped out of there a little bit different than what she did, because Suge Knight came and captured him with the bail money. But she was assisted, Asada, by the military black liberation movement, you know. That was for a cause. Could you imagine your son, your daughter, your mama, your grandmama being convicted of murder that they didn't commit? They didn't even have a gun. But the police had the gun, 2 of them, and 2 other people had a gun, but you didn't have a gun. In fact, about it, you was shot. And another you all was killed, and another one ran off into the woods. But they still convicted you because of who you were and what you looked like. And they still do it today. Just ask Terrance Crawford. I'm just saying. Here it is. Not only do you have racial profiling, you got more crime. Like more white on white crime. Like the Mormon church shooting that was committed by Thomas Jacob Sanford, 40 years old, ex-Marine, white boy. Yeah, I'm going to put his picture in the thumbnail, don't worry. His picture most definitely going into the thumbnail. 40 years old, ex-Marine. 4 dead, 8 injured. Ran his truck into a Latter-day Saints, Mormon church. In Michigan over there, what they call that town? Glenbach Township. But needless to say, he ran his truck into the church. And then he began to open fire. Chop, chop, chop. Killing people that look like him. Setting the church on fire. Damn! You set the church on fire, man. Let me get this right. You run your truck into the joint, you open up fire, then you set the church on fire. What is driving the #1 terrorist in America to do these things? What is driving Americans, white Americans, to do the things that they are doing. But yet you got people like Charlie Kirk and Laura Loomer and Nick Fuentes and the main conservative people have a whole lot of negative things to say about black people. They call us the criminals. They look at us as if we are the scum of the earth. But look at all of the evil that they do. Not just to us, but to each other. I think that black people need to reevaluate white people. Who we got out there? Detroit Degenerate. It's just facts. Foster covers. Funny how a guy was a scumbag and you're sick too. Brandon Finch. Lack of empathy. I like that. Lack of empathy. Even the white man. After this video is over, or while it's still going, if you got multi-screens going on, you know, go to my uploads in the last 2 days, and you'll see the white man, the white homeless man, telling you how grateful he is to the African American community. The homeless white man, who's never been homeless before, but got so much love from black people, whom Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes, Laura Loomis, and the rest of those right-wingers spoke so bad about. But then, not only that, he spoke about how bad that white people were. The white man said that. The white man even said that they don't even have a soul. Sounds like something Bobby Hemmett said. Now, is that funny, man? No, it's not funny, but I have to make a joke of it because I would have to use a different tone and be in a different realm of feeling. So in order to control that, I have to laugh because that is really hurtful and shameful. Hurtful to the people that is done to, and shameful for the people that is doing it. Shame on them. Shame on them. Let me ask you something. If you're a white supremacist out there, if you are a KKK member, if you are one of those groypers, if you are a, Charlie Kirk fan, what would you do if we was not around? You must remember there would be no us, there would be no you without us. But what would you do if we wasn't around? You're still killing yourselves. They want black people to commit a heinous crime, meaning an act of murder, meaning an assassination act on a Caucasian. They want that to happen so bad. Yeah, we haven't gave it to you. And all of the evil shootings, assassinations, and assassination attempts, just like Ryan Ruth in Florida on Donald Trump, just like Sarah Jane Moore, who attempted an assassination attempt on Gerald Ford, and who was the Caucasian male who tried to shoot and kill Ronald Reagan. They weren't black people, but yet white people are talking about white power. when they are destroying themselves. They're not only destroying black people and making it hard for black people, they are making it hard for themselves. They destroy themselves. Just like when you go over to China, ain't no black people killing Chinese. It's Chinese killing Chinese. Right? When you go over to Japan, it's Japanese killing Japanese people. Here in America, seeing that we got this big melting pot, you got white people killing white people, you got black people killing black people, you got Spanish people killing, you got everybody in the crayon box is killing each other. Everybody in the crayon box is killing each other. But we was taught this by somebody. We were taught this way of thinking and programming by somebody. Would that somebody be the #1 domestic terrorist in America? Who we got? Brandon Finch. Hey, what's going on, man? East LA, we need to be looking out for each other. You know what, East LA? I agree with you. We need to be looking out for each other. And I don't care what color you are in the crayon box. However, the last color in the crayon box is the color that's causing the division. The last color in the crayon box is causing the division and has rulership all over the planet Earth. The biggest religion is white supremacy. Even white supremacy is over white America citizens. You see, it's just not black people. I don't think y'all understand me. I think y'all think I'm just coming out of I'm pulling a color card or something. No, white supremacy is over all, even white people. And they are affected too. The white people that don't think like the white supremacists are affected, even though they're still privileged. But it's not enough good white people out here to have the effect that it needs to change everything. Just think about it. The white man preached Christianity. He talks about Jesus and talks about a heaven in the sky with gates, streets paved with gold. It looks like a peaceful earth. The white man could make it peaceful here on earth if he wanted to, but that's not his nature. This is why he's the #1 domestic terrorist in America. Don't argue with me. Black people kill black people. Black people don't kill white people. We didn't even kill you in slavery when you deserved it. That's our ignorance, okay? But we don't kill white people. We kill ourselves. And the agenda is for the #1 domestic terrorist continue to do what he's doing. Have you seen these domestic terrorist groups that's right-wingers that don't like Jews or black people? They are assisted and escorted by the police. They are escorted by the police. And the police let them do or say what they're going to say. Even though somebody told me that I'm preaching hate on here, everyday America, white citizens of America, teach and preach hate every day. It's even in your school books to falsify history, just like Donald Trump is doing right now. It's a shame that we have to live on the planet with these people. That's right. Your God, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Krishna, Adonis, whatever you want to call your God is responsible for all of this. I'm going to say that again. Your God is responsible for all of this madness. Think about it. If God made everything and everybody, he made the devil too. And he made this happen too, which is racism, which is oppression. And your God, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever, sanctioned it. Sanctioned for a whole nation of a people to be destroyed. And you all are okay with that. You all are okay with the number one domestic terrorist in America who still walks the street every day, every second, and as soon as they arrest one, it's another one right behind them. How do we get rid of these people? And I'm not talking about if you are a good Caucasian white person. Because you got white good Caucasian person, you got bad white Caucasian person, people. Just as you have in all colors of the crayon box. Let's get that straight. You have evil in all colors of the crayon box. But it seems to me, with the evidence that has been shown in history, that the number one terrorist on the planet is the Caucasian. Ain't that right, Noah? We have to all get along here. I'm not saying let's kumbaya, because it's not going to be a kumbaya. But let's make it better than what it is. That's all I'm saying. You have interracial families. People who have moved beyond the color code that white supremacy has instilled and indoctrinated our minds with. Those people that have graduated from that, those are the type of people I like to be with. However, I do love people who are for the struggle for their own selves, who have been oppressed, who have been slaves, don't have nothing. People ask, man, what's wrong with black people? What's wrong with black people? They act like they crazy. If you would have suffered what black people have suffered, maybe you would be crazy too. I'm just saying. The Holocaust, it happened. done by another white man to a white man. You see that? Who killed the Jews? Another white man named Hitler. Named Hitler. Now, I know I'm wearing some Adidas outfit. The German dudes, you know. It's just an outfit. You gotta wear something, right? Seeing that we don't make no clothes. See, you know, if I had a plain hat, I'd wear a plain hat. I don't have a plain hat. All my hats got something on it. Adidas, the cheapest thing on the market, okay? The cheapest thing on the market, so I'm not wearing nothing fly, and I don't care what argument or what history that German and Jews got. It just is what it is. If the Jews owned Adidas, I'd be wearing it too. I'm just saying. So let's not make that personal, okay? They do not sponsor me. I just look good in Adidas, okay? Been rocking Adidas since the age of 15, okay? My Adidas, okay? But I'm just saying. Here it is. You have Hitler, Mussolini, Hitler, Mussolini. Damn, what was his name? Stalin. Yeah, Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin. All of them nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. When they did nothing but destroy and kill. Donald Trump right now is seeking the Nobel Peace Prize. Isn't this a oxymoron type of prize or statement or status for these people? You kill people. You kill people. Wait, let me do this again. You kill people. You starve people. You rape people. You wipe away their history, or try to. You destroy families. And yet you're nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize? Can anybody help me out? How does that work? How does that work? So is it like in religion? Where you have these men of God? Because if you look at it, like if you really look at what's happening, if you're a religious person and you read the Bible, I'm not religious, okay? But there's a lot of things in historical facts that you can find in religious scripture. But if you can't find yourself and your history in scripture, well, you might as well not read it. But however, seeing that I know what it is, just like you should know, especially if you are an avid reader or if you are, or are you a follower? Before you get into a religion, you understand what the religion is before you get into it. Because religion is full of oppression. Religion is full of oppression. Religion is full of racism. Is your God a racist? Is this what America teach? Christianity, racism? Isn't Isn't the doctrine for white supremacy or black hatred authorized here in America? Like legally? If it wasn't, the Ku Klux Klan would not be a religious group. Yes, the Ku Klux Klan are a religious group, and they too are the #1 domestic terrorist in America. Just like you have many Caucasian white law enforcement officers that are the #1 domestic terrorists in America. What kind of world are we living in? You say that this is heaven, or you want to go to heaven? Well, the same heaven here on earth, which is thought that I had maybe 10 minutes ago, but it went away, but it came back in regards to the heaven with the golden stairs, and you got gates and everything. Isn't that just like the Nordic heaven? And it's all like a city of peace, a city of utopia. This is what we are supposed to have here. But we can't have it here because we got this peace breaker. Peace breaker against humanity. Even among them own selves. And we're not like back in the 16th century or the 15th century or the 14th century. We are in the 21st century, and it has not changed. It's just been upgraded. And like I say right now, everybody is a victim to the #1 domestic terrorist in America. Everybody's a victim. Even those who speak their mind, even if they are for the right wingers, they are still assassinated for something that they said by a Caucasian male. Like I said, Sarah Jane Moore was the only one that really attempted to kill a president. But, all of the assassinators of presidents of the United States, all of them have been white men. And who has been the #1 destroyer of black culture, of black community, or has raped and pillaged black people's land, language, spirit? Malcolm said we all got one common enemy. He's even an enemy against himself. This is how hatred he is. He even hates himself and makes you hate yourself. Ain't nobody being no racist here, man. We too big for that. Nobody's trying to belittle any section of a people. We're just dealing with historical facts. Speaking of historical facts, had not black people been so foolish enough to trust the white man, we wouldn't be in this position. How about that? So how stupid were we then? We even stupider now. Like a box of rocks. I like what Nino Brown said, okay? Nino Brown said that you can find 5 friends to get high and drunk with, but you can't find 5 friends to build a business with. With all of the information, with all of the black power, with all of the unity for humanity, you can't find a black person, a white person. Just think if you had 5 people and all of them different colors in the crayon box and they opened up a business. I mean, how often does that happen? I mean, I know you have people that's investors. You got black and white people who invest every day. But one from each other color of the crayon box that's doing good, that can show people an example of how to be. No, we ain't got that. The rich is for the rich. And if you're poor, you better get your game together. If you're poor, you better get your game together. And hopefully you can get it with someone like yourself, of like-minded. Because if not, I guess you will stay a slave the rest of your life. Now, you have some good slaves out there now. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has to work. Everybody has to have a job, whether it's self-employment or what have you. Everybody has to do this. And some people make good money. And some people make no money. They make so little money that they can make the money that they're just working for if they believed in themselves. But the system of the number one domestic terrorist, the system does not want you to think that way. I don't know where it's coming from. It's just coming up out of me. We are living in a sick society. A society that destroys dreams. Just because you are the wrong color. A society that will wipe away your history and your accomplishments and excellence as a section of a people, all because of the color that you are in the crayon box. But yet, the last color of the crayon box, is the one who's raising all the hell. And yet everybody prays to God, and God is not present because the devil is God and God is the devil. Yeah, snatch him off the web. Anyway, Elijah Muhammad made it clear. Elijah Muhammad made it clear. He said that I present to you God and the devil. There's no need for anyone to come behind me. And that includes Louis Farrakhan. But Louis Farrakhan, the minister, saved my life. Personally. Not through reading material. No, like personally. Like, give me the lessons in person. Like Moses saw Yahweh in the burning bush. But Elijah Muhammad brought you face to face with God and the devil. Now, we know that a devil is the one who does evil, wicked, debauchery, Beelzebub, no good. Is this not the people that we are being ruled by? But yet they still want a race war. But it's people that looks like them that's committing all of the evil acts against their own. Who all out there? I have to put my glasses back on for that. Yeah, I can't see without them sometimes. You are wrong. They state statistics. Who or what state statistics? Foster covers. I agree, once again, with East LA 103. We need to be looking out for each other. I agree with that. Brandon Fitch. Count Doomist. Good evening and greetings from Indiana. Hey, what part of Indiana you from? You from Gary? You from Hammond? You from Portage? You know where you from in Indiana out there, man? I-94, I-94 to I-65. Y'all know what I'm talking about there out, you know. I know he do out there anyway. Count Doomist, Squire. Don't you know I'm white? That's not true. Here for review, Squire. Is that meth? It's pretty good. No. Where does choice play a role and who's responsible for the choices themselves? Honest question. Who is that out there? Brandon Finch. Brandon Finch. Everybody is responsible for their own actions. You know how they say that there's no excuse for not knowing the law? Like, how many laws do we have in every state, in every city, in every county? And there are hundreds of laws that most civilians don't know about when there should just be a few laws for humanity to go by. But they have to entrap us to get money. This is a sick society in which we're living in. I know my numbers went down in the live. Maybe because I got to saying something different. I don't know. But whatever it is, I still want to thank you all for being here. And we're going to continue this LIVE. What do you say there? The best person ever. A toaster adopted a cloud. The mountains sneeze, glitter, and library melted into spaghetti. And huh? All right, man. Y'all lost me on that. Okay. Who is this? Horace C's. And this is your brain on drugs. Gordon Sykes, you a Tylenol baby. Hey, I'm glad you said Tylenol, man. Who is it out there? Gordon Sykes. Gordon Sykes, I want to thank you for bringing the Tylenol word up, using that word. Because did you know that a Chicago police by Daniel Droids, Daniel D-R-O-Z-D, is responsible for the 1982 Tylenol deaths? Did you all know that? According to his son, Joseph Sabelli, Illinois, Lyons, Illinois. Battery is going low. Oh, God. Jesus, my battery. Damn. We're going to rock this until it finishes. But needless to say, the Chicago cop is the one who placed cyanide in the Tylenol capsules in 1982 and killed those people. He made that on a deathbed as a confession to his son. Whew. There was no motive as to why he did it, but they did find in his studies, meaning Daniel Droids, Joseph Sabelli's dad, they did find the Ant Artist Cookbook, which said that the best way to poison someone is to put it in a capsule. So watch out for people who's trying to give you capsules that is not from the pharmacy to take, okay? Even if it's your wife or your husband, be careful. I mean, it's sad, but that's the way it goes, okay? No motive. Why? Chicago cop. Just like we had the other Chicago cop that killed all them people. John Wayne Gacy had him in his walls in his basement. The number one domestic terrorist in America. Y'all tell me. I'm going to get out of here right now. My battery is running low on my PHONE. Okay? Yeah, I've been driving around. Y'all ain't seen me online. But I'm still in rotation. But I had to drop this off to you. And if you haven't went over to my other channel, MOPOWERZ, go do that right now, where you will find audiobooks of Black Man and the Now and his family, stolen legacy, As a Man Thinketh, from Babylon to Timbuktu, the chronological order from alchemy to Wicca, the fall of America, the destruction of black civilization, the message to the black man in America, the demonology of King James. Go over there to that channel and check it out, and take a ride with us to California, to Colorado, to Maine, to Connecticut, to New Hampshire, to North Carolina, South Carolina at Hilton Head, all the way back over to Mopop Museum in Washington. Stop in Kentucky at the Churchill Down. Stop at, Georgia Guidestone. Stop at the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. Stop at the Black Holocaust Museum in Milwaukee. I mean, we got a whole lot of things going on. The Garden of the Gods and everything. Take a ride with us on that channel. MOPOWERZ, all one word, no space here on YOUTUBE. And if you haven't been to my last channel, THEMOSHOW Classics, all one word, no space here. You can also find Twister, Shauna, Dion Cole, Diane Quarter, Mecca, Killer Bloodline, The Nomads, Mano, and Dub, High Pilot, Affiliated Fellas, P-Dub, Cadillac Seville, Black Money, and a whole host of others. Get yourself over there, THEMOSHOW Classics, all one word, no space here on YOUTUBE. And on our way out the door, we ask that you press the subscribe button, the notification bell, and the word all to help ensure that you get notifications when we upload videos here on YOUTUBE. Support the channel. You want to support the channel? That's how you can support the channel. Subscribe, like, and share. We appreciate you all. We tip our hat to you. That's our time for right now. Peace out and never give up on your DREAMS.